Okay, are we live? Yes.
Waiting for this to reload.
Okay, just let me know when.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, hello, and I am Mandy Carstetter, and I serve as the chair of the Practice IV Therapy Advisory Committee of the Kansas State Board of Nursing. I ask the members of the Practice IV Therapy Advisory Committee to respond to a roll call signifying their presence at this open meeting being held remotely by Zoom and YouTube. Rebecca Sander,
Present.
Andrea Watson,
Present.
Adri Goldsmith,
Present.
Gwendolyn Lloyd, who is she is absent, correct? She was going to be absent. Jeannie Gerstenkorn, Christina Blanton,
Here.
Julie Brown,
Here.
Denise Rebel, and Sharon Morris.
Here.
I also ask the following board members to signify their attendance: Carol Moreland,
Present.
Linda Davies,
Present.
and Victoria Bond.
Present.
Public comment allows individuals to address the Practice IV Therapy Advisory Committee about their concerns, but the Kansas Open Meetings Act, which is known as KOMA, does not require the committee to provide public comment or answer questions from individuals. As we will not know what comments an individual may make, we would want to provide notice to the public of our intent to discuss a particular matter so that the public may listen and observe our discussion. Public comment will not be taken today due to that concern, and because this is a meeting conducted remotely by Zoom and YouTube where the connection may be lost and the time for the meeting may not allow everyone who is present to comment. Because we are conducting this public meeting by Zoom and YouTube, I state for the record the following information. 1, on November 23rd, 2020, the board sent notice of the meeting for the Practice IV Therapy Advisory Committee to all individuals who have requested notice of the committee's meetings. Additionally, the notice and agenda were posted on the board's website. The notice contains the link to the Zoom meeting identification number and password and the link to YouTube so that the public may attend this board free of charge. The notice also advises individuals to contact the board office at 785-296-2967 if they experience technical difficulty during the meeting. 2, you may obtain a copy of the notice and agenda at that website or by sending an email to carol.moreland.ks.gov with the subject line request for the agenda, and the board staff will send it to you. 3, the state of disaster emergency due to the COVID-19 pandemic, as declared by Governor Kelly and extended by the State Finance Council, will expire on December 15th, 2020. Because the requirements of KOMA are not suspended, we will be conducting this meeting pursuant to the KOMA and KAR 16-20-1 concerning compliance with the KOMA during an emergency declaration. For the Zoom virtual meeting and YouTube are the only mediums for interactive communication offered for this meeting. 5, each member of the committee, board staff, or presenter shall state the person's name and title each time the person speaks or votes, as the case may be. 6, each participant to this meeting shall ensure microphones, phones, and other electronic devices are on mute when the participant is not speaking. Each motion will be clearly stated before the committee votes, and the chair will announce the result of the final vote. And 8, a statement or motion will clearly identify and authorize by delegation each member of the committee or staff who will be permitted to sign any document on behalf of the board. 9, the meeting is being recorded and the recording will be posted to the board's website. The committee has the following items listed on its agenda: call to order, review on-site packet, additions or revisions to the agenda, announcements, approval of minutes for the meeting held in September 2020, complaints or concerns, practice, IV therapy, agenda for committee meeting March 2021, and adjournment. The meeting is now called to order, and the committee will now consider the next item on its agenda. Okay, so I did not see a on-site packet, so we don't have to do that unless something came up between now and the last committee meeting. Do we have any additions or revisions to the agenda? I'm assuming we don't, so we can go on. Any announcements?
Madam Chair, this is Linda Davies. Do we want to do a motion to approve the agenda?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I guess I can. I'm sorry. I apologize, everybody. I need to make a motion to revision or to accept the agenda. Is somebody willing to do that motion?
This is Adri Goldsmith, board member, and I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. Do I have a second?
This is Rebecca, board member. I will second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify yes by saying yes.
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 Okay, any opposition, same sign. Now, is there any discussion? I apologize. Lack of sleep, I apologize. Okay, it's moved to approve the agenda as it is. Okay, so now we have announcements. Do we have any announcements? No announcements? Okay. So we move on to the approval of minutes from our September 15th, 2020 meeting. Have you all been able to look at that? And then are there any revisions that need to be made to it? Okay, so do we need to have somebody make a motion to approve the minutes for September?
Andy,
Yeah,
we actually did have some changes that we had to make at the last minute to the minutes.
okay.
Can
you-
I can read them off to you. We weren't
Thank
able to
you.
get it all, everybody. So the first one is under unfinished business, section A. We added, it was moved to approve KAR 60-3-101 as written. The second one is also under unfinished business, section B. It was moved to approve KAR 60-7-101 as written.
Okay. So do we need to make a motion to approve these on the, approve these on the minutes for September then? Victoria?
Yes, I have one ready if you want me to read it.
Yes.
So is there a member on the committee who would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 15th, 2020 Practice IV Therapy Committee meeting with the following changes? 1, unfinished business, section A, it was moved to approve KAR 60-3-101 as written. 2, under unfinished business, section B, it was moved to approve KAR 60-7-101 as written.
This is Adri Goldsmith, board member, and I move to approve minutes. Or did I say that wrong? Move to approve them.
I'll second that motion. This is Sharon Morris.
Thank you. Okay. Everybody who is at agreement, signify yes.
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 Okay, opposition, same sign. Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, it was moved to approve. Okay, so that is done. Okay, so on our agenda for today. In practice, under unfinished business, we have, the first one's the 5-year legislative review for KAR 60-3-101, but we just did that. Is that something different? Carol?
No, I don't think we need to. We just did that, so I don't
Okay,
think we
that's
need to
what-
do that again.
Okay, because that's what I was getting ready to tell you with, because it says it on our agenda for December. I have it on mine that I got off of there the other day. So A and B, we don't need to worry about in practice, correct?
Well, I don't have the same agenda that you have, so.
Okay.
It's under-
It says December 8th of 2020. I took it off of I printed it Monday morning. My days all
Okay.
run together. I want to apologize to everybody if I sound like a mess. I don't mean to be.
You're
Okay.
fine. I don't have anything under unfinished business. Victoria, is there
Okay.
supposed to be anything under unfinished business?
No, there's nothing under unfinished business.
Okay. So I feel like I'm losing it, but really seriously, it's on this one that I
You're
took
fine.
off. Okay. So we have nothing under unfinished practice or unfinished business under practice. So the next one is under new business, and it is practice calls.
And Madam Chair, that's Linda Davies, and all I have to report, since we have new members, I just want to remind the committee of the purpose of the Practice IV Therapy Committee as it relates to practice type calls that we receive. And this is per the Ksbn articles that is found on our website. One of the topics, one of the functions is to provide non-binding guidance on the scope of nursing and LMHT practice in response to written inquiries. And as you know, from where I've presented before in the past, we get a variety of very complex questions at times, and it takes us a while to kind of assimilate, and it's there's several heads that get together, and sometimes we are looking for, if you know of other research that's out there that's evidence-based, or another resource that maybe would be helpful for us as staff to be able to answer these questions, we would welcome any and all input. Please understand too that with these times of the pandemic, we are also looking to see and understand about the increased level of stress to the nursing workforce, and trying to weigh that into account with the questions that are coming in. Most of the questions this last quarter have surfaced around the COVID workforce questions. Can my employer force me to do X? If I don't feel like I'm trained, how do I approach the employer? We've gotten delegation questions. We've gotten a lot on hydration therapy and a spa type clinic questions. And so we're looking at all resources to be able to give adequate answers and responses to those. So I would just stress to the committee, of any other resource, please just, shoot that to me via email, and I would be we would be most receptive to getting any help at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you get some very, very complex questions. In fact, I probably could give you a whole sheet of them right now for myself, but that's okay. Let's see. So the next thing we have on our agenda is on IV therapy. We do have under unfinished business, updated IV therapy test questions, excuse me.
And Madam Chair, this is Carol Moreland, and I will just kind of follow up on this. This has actually been on the agenda, I think, for a couple times now. And as far as I can tell, going back through a lot of minutes and stuff like that, probably about the last time that these were updated was like 2014, 2015. And the process that was done at that point in time is one of the committee members kind of took the lead on this, who had a big interest in IV therapy, and then contacted some course coordinators and to help put together a set of approximately 260 test pool questions. And then the tests, of course, were developed. I'm just not sure I just wanted to bring that to the committee. I'm not sure if you feel like we need to do the process again to try to get these updated. If the committee feels that what we have done in the past is fine, just kind of little direction maybe. We have, I think, a couple of providers have contacted us and said, you know, it doesn't seem like these have been updated recently, and that's true. So that's kind of why we brought it.
Cheryl, when is the test, this IV therapy test given that you're talking about?
When is it given?
Uh-huh.
We actually give the test out to the providers after they do a test security affirmation with us, and then we give it to them, and they give it then at the end of an IV certification course that they've done. So they keep the tests, you know, but they have to keep them very secure and stuff like that.
Their question, this is Sharon Morris, is their question based on the content of the questions or just the date of the revision? Because I could see if they are teaching it and it is becoming out of date, it may not have all the questions that are needed for current practice.
Oh, Carol, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
That's
That
all
may
right.
be true. I haven't personally reviewed the test questions, so I don't know that I can totally speak to that. You know, we could certainly pool or survey the IV therapy providers if you would like us to, and kind of get some feedback from them as far as how they feel about the test questions and stuff like that. If you would like us to do that, we can.
Committee members, what do you think about that? Maybe that would give us more of a direction of what they're wanting. Maybe if it is, like Sharon said, the content or just the fact that it'd been a long time since they've been revision, maybe they're thinking they're outdated or compared to what they are teaching.
I had a question. Oh, that's out of turn. My question was, are we able to see the questions they're being asked?
Are we able to see the test questions? Is that what you're
Yes,
asking?
ma'am.
Yeah, we have the test questions in our agency. Yeah.
Are we able to look at them too?
You mean board members?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what to do. So, I mean, I think we just have to make sure that they are kept very secure.
Yes, ma'am.
Other than that, I don't see a problem sharing them if that's what you want.
Might be helpful.
I mean, we wouldn't put them, of course,
but
in any
yes, I think-
packet.
Mm-mm.
We wouldn't
Right.
put them in a
Mhm.
committee packet or anything because that's all public information. Yeah. I mean, so we couldn't do.
This is Sharon, I would be interested in knowing whether those that are teaching current practice feel that those questions are still valid and cover the material amply. And then if we had kind of like, I think, as you said, a survey response that drove our decision versus just, we could put a new revision date on that, even with I believe with the current questions, if that had been reviewed and felt to be still current.
So do you think we should make a motion, or is it something you can just kind of do and bring back to us? How should we do this, Carol?
We can put together a survey and send it out and bring the results back in March if you want me to.
Committee members, how do you feel about this? I feel that it's something that's been on there for a while that we probably should do something. At least get this survey and then go from there. It's probably something we need to take care of.
Agree.
It sounds like something, it's a good idea.
Mhm.
Now, is this for the the IV therapy class for LPNs that's not embedded in academia? It's for the classes that are still being held outside of
Standalone
the curriculum.
courses.
Yeah,
Yeah, the standalone is probably where we
standalone.
see it used mostly now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So that number isn't a large volume, is it, Carol? Because hasn't that been
No.
embedded in the LPN curriculum now? IV therapy.
yeah,
in
I
their
don't
LP
know that. I can't tell you off the top of my head how many PN programs have started it yet. I
Okay.
know that they are bringing curriculum change requests to the education committee, but it's not a large number now. But we can certainly do that if that's what you
Well,
want done.
Yeah, because I'm sure they want those questions valid, they want them to be good questions, quote unquote. And so I can see why they would want them looked at or evaluated or updated if needed. So let's just see what their issue is with the test and then go from there.
Okay.
Not a bad idea.
Okay, if you're all in agreement, we'll have Carol get that done and bring it back to the March
Yeah.
meeting. Okay, we'll put it and hopefully get it on the agenda for March. So we don't need to make a motion for that, correct? We'll just wait for that and then go from there. Okay. Okay, so new business, revision of discontinuing peripheral IV site competency checklist. And that was in the packet. I saw it. Gotta find it.
This is Carol Moreland, and I'm the one that can speak to that also. This is what you have in your packet is one of the competency evaluation checklists that we have for IV therapy, the one that has to do with discontinuing a peripheral IV site. And I had some feedback that came to me from one of our IV therapy providers. And this is pretty much what she says. The Ksbn IV therapy checklist states after the removal of the dressing and stabilization device and inspecting the skin junction for redness, tenderness, drainage, to apply a gauze to the insertion site with a non-dominant hand, slowly remove the catheter using gentle, even pressure, and then apply pressure and then the dressing. Her question is, per infection prevention literature, it's suggested that after the removal of the dressing and stabilization device and inspecting the skin junction, to scrub the catheter skin junction with an alcohol prep pad for at least 15 seconds to remove any microorganisms from the skin entry site. So her question is, should this clinical evaluation checklist be updated to reflect that? I asked her to send me this infection prevention literature, and she has not done it. I think perhaps her students kind of brought this to her attention. So I just wanted to share it with the committee and see if there's any changes you wanted us to make with this competency evaluation checklist, or if you wanted it to remain the same, or I just told her I would bring it to the committee.
So was she able to get that literature or tell you where it was so we could look for it for ourselves?
No, she hasn't.
Okay. Committee members, do you have any suggestions?
I had a question.
Yes.
So was that before you pulled the catheter? That you cleaned it?
This is her words. After removal of the dressing and the stabilization device, so I take it it's after it comes out, and inspecting the skin junction to scrub the catheter skin junction with an alcohol prep pad for at least 15 seconds to remove microorganisms from the skin entry site.
You've got to put direct pressure as soon as you remove the catheter. So that wording is not very good. You're going to have a really big bruise. And not to mention blood everywhere. If I'm understanding that right. I mean, I could see once you got the clear dressing off, cleaning, then.
I think that's what she's probably trying to get at. So on this, you remove the stabilization device and sutures if present. You inspect the catheter skin junction for redness, drainage, tenderness. I think what she's saying then is then you clean the area and then you are removing the catheter appropriately, as this says.
Okay.
I think that's what she is getting at. Am I correct?
Probably, yes.
Well, I definitely state it better.
So what are your thoughts, committee? Should it be changed? Should we leave it alone? Should we, what do you think?
I'd like
So-
to hear what an infection control said for sure.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I would like to hear from infection control.
Rebecca, what,
Well, is that
What-
one, is she suggesting that there's one step missing in between?
I think that's what she's trying to say. That's what it sounds like to me. And in infection control, I could definitely see what they're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. There's no perfect, there's just no such thing as a perfect competency, list, because all the resources vary a little bit. But I understand infection control needs to also be involved when you're removing a line. So I'm kind of like I don't know, how much do you put in it before it just gets out of hand? Because you don't teach, I don't know, it's a checklist for competency. It's not a list according to a certain resource. So I don't know how detailed you want these things to be. It depends on the teacher. Some instructor may not notice that, and some instructor, this one did, because the students probably, they brought it to their attention. I don't know what you guys want to do.
without a resource,
Yeah,
and a reference to change, that is going to potentially impact checklists across the state, and practice across the state without having your reference. I think she had an opportunity to provide that and still could, and readdress this if she has the reference and provides that.
Would you need to change your gloves again?
yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
Nancy, that's a good point.
Yep.
So now that we're turning this into major production.
We don't want a major production. We've got
No.
enough going on. I think.
Oh my goodness, it's going to turn into a major production.
My thoughts are if she could provide the literature that she was talking about, that would
Yeah.
make it a lot easier for us to deal with it or not deal with it, whichever. And Rebecca's right, it is a checklist for competency. But we all know, on the other hand, that infection control is such a major issue right now. So
Yeah, it is. Well, let's see what the reference was that she suggests she's getting this from. It may weigh heavily to do it.
Exactly.
I will reach out to her again and see
Okay.
if she can send me the reference.
I suppose we could add one more line to the checklist to make everybody happy. We could do it if it's needed.
If it's needed.
Yeah.
And it may be needed. I mean,
Yeah.
things change all the time.
Mhm.
We know that. Okay, so Carol, you're gonna reach out to her and see if she can provide that literature for us to further. So can we table this then until we get that literature or a site or wherever it's, for us to be able to go to and look at whatever it ends up being? Okay.
Sure, I will do that.
Okie dokie. So next is the agenda for March 2021 committee meeting. The survey for the practice questions, right? No, the IV
IV
questions.
therapy.
Yeah, IV therapy, sorry, questions. That survey, hopefully maybe we'll be back by then, maybe? Should we put it on there?
Yeah, it should be back. Yeah.
Okay. And then what about this, the discontinuing of the peripheral IV checklist? Do you want that back on March as well, committee?
I can
Okay.
provide an update. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that needs to be on the agenda for March of 2021?
We probably, if we have any legislative, 5-year legislative review that's due in 2021, we can have that listed on there.
Okay. Okie dokie. Anything else that we should bring to the agenda for March 2021? Anything? Okay, so the last thing on there is adjournment. Does somebody want to make a motion for that? Victoria? No, I'm kidding.
I will move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, do we have a second?
I will second it. Andrea Watson.
Okay. Everyone in agreement? Say yes.
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 Anybody
Yes.
oppose? No? Any discussion? Okay, and I guess we are adjourned, and I want to apologize for being a little off the wall, but I am lack of sleep, so I will get good sleep tonight, I promise.
Thanks,
Okay,
Mandy.
meeting is adjourned. Thank